The Association of Adventist Women proudly presents the 2005 Women of the Year Award recipients. They come from 6 countries and 4 language groups, but they share a commitment to compassionate service and demonstrate the rich gifts God has given to women of every culture and tradition. The first honoree comes from Australia, as you will discover from her distinctive accent. And her service over many years has been far, far from her homeland. As a college graduate, she found herself opposed by an ecclesiastical bureaucracy, not the least inclined to send her to the mission field where she intensely desired to serve.
When I finished college, they didn't want to send me to New Guinea because I was too young, and they nearly all fell over when I said I'd go, and they said, "Are you married?" I said no. And they said, "You want to go by yourself?" Yes. And so they hesitated, but finally they let me go. But after that I had to come home because my father was sick. And then it was another 20 years before I got a chance to go anywhere.
The trigger for a new and somewhat late start in a long-term mission service came in the strangest of circumstances.
I went on a trip from Katmandu to London by bus, and everywhere I went the children of Asia appealed to me. The kids came from everywhere, and I wanted to go back. But I didn't plan to come here. I wanted to go to a cold place because I sparkle in cold weather and wither in the heat. But the Lord had other plans. And I went to an Asian Aid camp. You know Asian Aid? They're the people who help sponsor kids. They started off with the Korean orphans, then it spread to many places in Asia, and Maisie Fook was running it. And at this camp I met a lady who'd been up here with the Quran, and she talked about them the entire weekend. And so she begged me to come with her. Now I'd already tried to get out of Australia to go to the mission field somewhere else, and nothing worked out. And so I said, all right, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll come here. And I came for 1 year and felt there was a lot of fighting and problems the first year, and I felt I hadn't accomplished anything, so I decided to stay a second. At the end of the second year, they said, we want to run a school just like Eric Hare's school. Would you stay and run it? So everybody at home said, you shouldn't do this. If you cut your ties with your own country and your own people, it'll be very difficult. You must come back. But I decided to burn my bridges and trust in the Lord and stay here.
She began a ministry of education for boys and girls, hundreds of them every year, although numbers are not her main goal.
Well, we started off last year with 850. We dropped down to 800 because people move a lot. But we started off our first school with 89. And they were afraid that I would go home because there wasn't enough people. See, in this culture, big is the most important thing, not quality, numbers. And I've had a lot of difficulty getting them to understand that I don't care about numbers, it's quality.
A civil war between the Karen and the military regime in Burma brings frequent conflicts, yet Helen can testify to God's protection.
The Lord protected us so many times. One time when they came, their boat overturned in the Moy and many soldiers were drowned. When they went back to the other side, the monks told them it wasn't an auspicious occasion for them to come and get us. So we didn't hear about it till about 3 weeks after. Another night they were coming and they sent a man to warn us, and he was too scared because if he came he would be killed. So nobody came. We all slept and not even a dog barked. And they came right to the fence. Then they went away. And the last time that they came to the tree that was our boundary, and they had told the people in the village across the river that they were definitely going to get me that night. And they stood by the tree, they looked in, the people watched them, and they turned and walked away. Now we don't know whether the angels were there or what, but they didn't touch us.
Helen has a certain presence, shall we say, with her friends, her enemies, and the children she loves so dearly. Often she employs very young teachers just out of high school themselves, and it can be difficult for them to impose discipline, but not for Helen.
I walk in the room, there's no more trouble.
You know where Helen finds the strength to run and staff a school under such trying conditions.
From the Lord, most definitely. And I think his gift to me has been energy. A lot of people say nobody could keep up with the pace that I've kept up. Well, there are many things I can't do, but other people can do a lot better. But I think God's gift to me has been energy.
It's difficult to gauge the Christian influence of the school because after graduation, many children go home and Helen loses contact with them. But she estimates some 2,000 are active in their witness for the gospel. Helen could never forget a young boy that returned to his home in Burma, determined to be a witness to the God he learned to love in Helen's school.
Just recently, I met a boy who's now back teaching in a government school in Burma, who's really running a little church school. He has worship there, and to be a part of a Christian school in Burma is very difficult. And the government and these terrorist soldiers come and burn down the churches. And one night this boy was running worship and the soldiers stood in his doorway and he was very frightened. And anyhow, when they finished, the captain came up and said, "It's not appropriate to run worship in a school. Why don't you build a church?" And he said, "Because if I built a church, your soldiers or the DKBA soldiers would come and burn it down." And so the man said, "I will give orders. Your church will not be touched. You build your church, bring your pastor to ordain it, and I will see that he gets through and nothing happens." And then he turned to him and he said, "And what religion are you?" And the boy said, "I'm a Seventh-day Adventist." And the man smiled broadly and he said, "My wife is a Seventh-day Adventist, and I would like to come and attend worship while I'm in your area." Now this same man went further down the line and he went to the area where our pastor's father is the military leader. And he sent a message and he said, "I hear you are a Seventh-day Adventist and that you conduct worship. Would you permit me to come and worship with you?" So we believe the Lord is working on the heart of this man. This boy, incidentally, only finished grade 8 at school. And this is what he's doing in Burma.
If you ask Helen if others could follow in her steps into foreign mission service, she has a ready smile and a steady look in her eye.
If they feel that that's what they're called to do, yes. I always felt as though I was a misfit with the things I was doing because I didn't feel satisfied. It wasn't what I wanted, but every time I suggested that I would like to go out in the back blocks and do something, they all howled it down and said, "Single women cannot do this thing." So then when I got the opportunity, I was amazed. And I just feel right here.